on the one and only Nagrand Arena. Alright everybody, this is the very first game of this best of 7 series though. Team 4 mecah has a lot of work to do here, as they do have to win 4 games versus Season 8's only 2 games here. But they aren't going to be running with Xaryu Shadow Priest this time around. They are going to be playing with Asbur on that Boomkin.
Yeah, so Xaryu taking the bench this game. Looks like they are going to switch it up and try to play a different comp. For now, we'll have to see how this works out for them. I think we've seen them play against RMD in the past. They definitely do have the opportunity to kill Nahj with the Hodges. They can definitely kill Icicle. They have a lot of CC, so we'll have to see how they play it. Nahj immediately getting cycloned up, getting MD'd out by Gekz right away. Felorea caught into that deep freeze, the silence out on the Asbur. Felorea also caught into that frost drop, pardon me, but he had the freedom up, so he is going to be able to get away. Gekz chasing him down though, trying to get the fear on him, but he gets caught into the deep freeze from Mageiden, and no fall off CC from Mageiden. Both teams playing very well, denying their early CC onto their healers.
Solar Beam landing onto Gekz here. He did land a Fear into a full Polymorph. Unfortunately, it was sacrificed onto Asbur, and it's going to break now Gekz into a full Polymorph. I believe he did Shadow or Death it with Holy Fire, so he's going to remove that Polymorph on himself. Both healers playing very well to avoid some CC early on here. Icicle getting cloned up. Asbur and Mageiden trying to find their target. Icicle having used his trinket. Looks like they're possibly going to go for Nahj once again once their CC lines up here. Mageiden has Deep Freeze available. He's going to be looking to push in for that Deep Freeze Polymorph here shortly. The Deep Freeze lands. He's going for the Ring of Frost. The Ring of Frost actually going to land. Nahj is hodged up. They're going for the kill. Pain Suppression comes out. Is it enough? Ice Nova comes in. Star Search flying out as well. He pops the Evasion to try and avoid the potential bash, but it's not even available. They're going to clone him on the Penance and deny the healing.
Yeah, absolutely. Still not recover though. Gekz is trying to heal him up. He's up to 65% HP right now. This RMP really hasn't been able to make too much happen at the moment. Looks like they're opening up onto Asbur. Just a cheap shot coming out from Nahj. Mageiden still the target of choice. The Frozen Orb coming out from Icicle. They're trying to get the damage rolling. Felorea caught into that full Deep Freeze. No fall up CC though, and he's going to use that Avenging Wrath to top off Mageiden really quickly. Gekz caught into the full Root Beam. Nahj still in a lot of trouble having to trinket that full Hodge onto him, and now he has no trinket available. Mageiden, Asbur, and Felorea slowly working through this RMP's cooldown. If we look, Felorea still has all his cooldowns available. Mageiden still has a block, and Nahj is the one that's in a little bit of trouble.
Gekz actually can travel the entire map to get a Fear onto Felorea. Killing Spree coming out onto Mageiden. Icicle getting cloned. Deep Freeze onto Felorea. Nahj gets cloned, trying to deny some damage in here. The Polymorph does get locked out. The Frostjaw not connecting just yet. Felorea line of sighting it in the back line. Nahj getting rooted, redotted into the full Hodge. Both dots are up. Mageiden gets Frostjaw. It's going to eventually fade there as we're going for some Cyclones now, not able to land them. Polymorph onto Felorea, lands full. They're trying to get the pressure on Mageiden and force that first Ice Block. Another Polymorph into a full Fear. Gekz is prepared for it, lands the full Fear, but there's just no damage yet. Finally, the Ice Nova is coming out onto Mageiden, forcing him low HP. Nahj gets cloned. I believe it got Mass Dispelled by Gekz, so they're going to remove the Cyclone using that Mass Dispel utility to get a bit of an edge here as they proc the Save by the Light.
Yeah, the Frozen Orb coming out from Mageiden. He's trying to turn around the pressure onto Nahj, I believe, but Gekz and no CC, and Nahj going to be completely fine because of the sack coming out from Felorea onto Mageiden, trying to prevent that incoming CC and damage onto Mageiden. Gekz getting deep frozen. No follow-up CC from Mageiden, though. Nahj on his back, just spamming him up with Garrotes and preventing him from doing really too much at all. Gets caught in that full kidney shot. He is going to sit that. He has no trinket available. The Adrenaline Rush coming out from Nahj. That was his Shadow Reflection as well. Full Fear on Felorea. Now Mageiden in a little bit of trouble, blinking away at 50% HP. The Wings coming out from Felorea, though. He could prevent his block, but Mageiden forced the block anyways. That was the Adrenaline Rush from Nahj, as well as the Icy Venge from Icicle, and the Power Infusion from Gekz. So this RMP lining up their cooldowns nicely to force stuff onto Mageiden, but he's still in a little trouble. Has Hypothermia for another 15 seconds. Has his second block available once that phase. Felorea still in CC, caught in that Frost Shot, full blind onto him. He's going to bop himself out of it right away. Hodge up Nahj. While Gekz has gotten to that Ring of Frost, the Nahj uses the Smoke Bomb defensive with that Pain Step to prevent any damage incoming onto him.
Yeah, it was a good reaction. Asbur using his 3-minute cooldowns, his biggest burst, and Nahj just answering it with the Trinket and the Smoke Bomb. Paul into Felorea, fear on Asbur. He's trinketing that, putting Gekz into the root beam, trying to get the pressure up. Mageden's on the back foot. Ice Nova connects. He's got 1 block remaining. A clone onto Gekz, DR bash onto Nahj. I believe he still has Cloak available here. He's going to use it at 30%. Gekz gets cloned once again. Pauly's being spammed out by Icicle now. Mageden getting Garrote Styles. Cheap shot onto Asbur. Nahj trying to buy time for Gekz to top him off, which he does. Felorea positioned in the back here. Gekz looking like he wants to get a fear out of this deep freeze. They're going to land the full poly instead. Gekz going to be a little bit patient here. Master Spell coming out, I believe, onto the Cyclone, removing it. Now a Hodge onto Nahj. Full poly onto Gekz. He got the Dispel off prior to the Polymorph. Nahj gets the Feint up. He's going to be able to make himself much more tankier and reduce the incoming damage. Gekz has to trinket that clone, though. Nahj doesn't have a lot of cooldowns left. He's going to get Life Grip to safety. Unfortunately, he's cloned up.
Yeah, the stack coming out from Felorea onto Mageiden, once again trying to prevent that incoming CC. Nahj getting cloned up though, like you said. Gekz getting a heal out of that clone, timing that nicely, and now Asper's into the full kidney shot. They're pressuring him quite hard. Felorea caught into the full defreeze ring of, or polymorph, pardon me. Asper trying to get away. The Seb of the Light procs on him. He's down to 30% HP at the moment. Barcian's about to fade, but Felorea popping those wings is going to be able to top off Asper. The Nature's Vigil coming out from Asper as well, using those cooldowns to stabilize his team. And now Nahj is in a little bit of trouble, down to 40% HP. The Root Beam on the Gekz. Nahj down to 10% HP, 1%, and he's going to die. And that's going to be 1-2 for mecah, drawing first blood in this best of 7.
Yeah, it's really interesting, like, on the tournament realm or in qualifiers, like, you can pick any race you want for your class, and I really think, like, if Gekz could play Gnome, he'd have no problem with this team. Gnome Priest, he can use his racial for every root beam and get out of them, and he has to sit in all of them, and it just looks so painful. I mean, he's getting a good suntan, but it just looks so painful.
Alright,
that's actually a really good point. Like, on the tournament realms, players quite often make like 4 different, like, I know Sidu, for example, would make a Draenei Shaman, a Dwarf Shaman, an Orc Shaman. And, like, you just have everything possible to get the slightest edge against those teams. And like you said, something like Escape Artist could matter a lot in a matchup like this.
Alright, the next map chosen by these players is going to be on Tiger's Peak.
No intro?
Nah, I played it like 6 times today.
Alright then. Alright. Not my rodeo. You don't want to play the intro, man. I think chat's gonna riot.
Yeah, I think so too. Gotta be careful, D-Machine.
But the triple Spectral Tigers out for mecah, trying to win it for Xaryu's sister, even though Xaryu's not even playing. Doing a good job in game 1, taking Nahj out pretty convincingly. Gekz is going to have to find a way to deal with these root solar beams. He did manage to pre-dispel one of them in the middle of the game, but consistently doing that is a very hard task to complete. Running right on top of Mageiden, and he's going to Kona Cold Icicle out of stealth. Now he's building up those Icicles, as his name states, going for the defensive polymorphs as well. Felorea is going to be able to dispel those. A full kidney onto Asbur, the RMP changing it up and going for him this time around, but a full poly onto Gekz. Hodge onto Nahj, taking a bunch of damage. The Shadow Image is going to kidney shot Asbur once again, but Nahj going down. Half bash, the Cloak of Shadows has to come out. He's going to escape with this trinket, but a bit of a close call here. As I say that, Asbur getting chunked. Saved by the Light's going to proc with the Avenging Wrath and Execution Sentence to heal him. He's camping bare from him. He just can't do any damage, and this target switch is paying off for Nahj and Icicle very well.
Yeah, they weren't really able to force anything on Mageiden last game, so they're doing an excellent job switching up their strategy, and it looks like they're able to force a lot more onto Asbur, already getting Feloria's wings and Asbur's trinket out of the way, as well as Barscan, so the next swap on him could be trouble, but Nahj in a lot of trouble. Gekz actually able to dispel Nahj out of that CC. He's going to be able to spam out that feint, but he's still in trouble, down to 10% HP, having used the smoke bomb defensive, and Gekz getting away with using no trinket, but now Nahj using one of his biggest offensive cooldowns defensively there. On the back foot still, but he still has his trinket, so the next swap on him, he should be able to survive, but getting dangerously low there.
Yeah, Nahj getting cloned up now. Gekz looking like he's poised to get a fear. He's running with the feather. Feloria's desperately trying to run away from it. He doesn't know where he is, though. He's going to land the full fear. Poly onto Mage, and he blocks that, realizing it's a 3v1 onto Asbur. He's going to use the Barskin as well. He did manage to get into bear form. He gains a significant amount of armor, and now he's trying to kite away as the stun fades. Nahj is getting pressured. Gekz in the polymorph. They need more CC, though. Icicle's going to get polymorph defensively, so he can't chain the polymorph onto Felorea. He leaves the CC, chops Asbur off. Now they can look for an offensive push. Dispel's coming out from Gekz. It's going to be hard for Asbur to get a Cyclone onto Gekz with Nahj just sitting on him the entire time, though. He does manage to fake cast the kick, but now into the full kidney, triple CC. Mageiden doesn't have a way out this time around. Felorea into the full fear. Icicle looks like he's going for the deep. He can land the full poly here. There's no Barskin available. Felorea desperately bubbles there. Anti-trinketed. They overlap both of those cooldowns. Asbur's still not topped off.
Yeah, this RMP is just forcing every cooldown, and Gekz still has his trinket. Nahj getting away with just a cloak once again. Gekz going to get out of this DR polymorph, hopefully able to top off Nahj. Gets a huge heal on him as Icicle goes into that sheep from Mageiden, and Nahj is topped off once again. And like you said, getting so many cooldowns out of Felorea. He has no trinket, no bubble available. He's going to still have bop for himself, but is it going to be enough? The next full sheep, but Gekz in the full root beam. Nahj in a little bit of trouble, running over to Gekz, trying to survive. That's the full clone on the Gekz. He has to trinket there to top off Nahj. The deep freeze, though, coming out from Mageiden on the Gekz. Mageiden blocking offensively there and puts Gekz into the full sheep, and now Nahj has nothing left. He might have his Cloak of Shadows back up, but Gekz still in CC, and Nahj down to 20% HP. This could just be the game. 24% HP. Gekz getting out. Saved by the Light coming in. The Hodge coming out onto Gekz. They're trying to turn around onto Asbur, but Nahj has to run defensively. Icicle trying to get as much damage as possible, and now Nahj is going offensive. He's trying to turn it around. Asbur into cat form right now, gets rooted up. Nahj does by that Trent, so well done by Asbur to escape, but that was a close call.
Yeah, Asbur still doesn't have Barskin for 30 seconds. The next kidney could be Dudley, but Celestial Alignment's available for Asbur is the biggest burst that he can do. Clone onto Nahj, Deep Freeze onto Gekz, full Ring of Frost going to land. They're setting up onto Nahj. The Hodge comes in. Celestial Alignment gets popped. He's loading the Star Surges and the Starfires onto him into the DR Bash. He's got to be careful. He trinkets and cloaks at 20%. Going to be escaping those cooldowns. Gekz trying to top off Nahj, gets the Saving Grace off in time, bringing him back up to a healthy HP margin. Now Asbur on the defense, blinking away, running away from Nahj, rooting him constantly, cloning him up, waiting for Felorea to leave CC, and as soon as he does and Hodge comes up, they're going to go for another assault on Nahj.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Nahj has no trinket for another 2 minutes. Gekz doesn't have trinket for another 30 seconds, so they could do the right swap. This might be it. The Hodge coming in, the full root beam onto Gekz. Nahj going down to 6% HP, no cloak available. He's going to die, and for mecah tying it up 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, that 2-0 advantage is now out of there. It is now tied up 2-2, and now both of these teams only need 2 wins to take the finals. Very, very impressive play coming out from for mecah. That composition change is definitely paying off for them significantly. Here we go, guys. I'm going to go ahead and ask Season 8 what map they want next.
I actually can't point out how much of a different game it would be if Gekz could be gnome. It would be so huge.
They got the kill. They got the kill there because that, like you said, it's like an extra trinket every minute. It's literally
is it worth them race changing? You should just go race change right now. I mean, yeah. Is it worth the whatever it is, the $20 to win 100? You just invest the money because you need to be gnome. It would be awkward if they switched to Godcomp, though.
I mean, they only have a 10-minute delay time, but...
He's going to level up a gnome now just for the tournament. In case he fights a Boomkin ever in the tournament. Just pulls it out.
Yeah, so Nahj is whispering me that it's a hard counter, so it's peculiar that they played Xaryu's Priest the first time that they faced these guys, if they had this option available to them. But yeah, so far it is tied up 2-2, and Season 8 is potentially on the ropes here. Both of these teams only need 2 more wins to take the whole tournament. Just waiting on a response from Nahj. Currently, we have played Grand Arena and Tiger's Peak, and then our maps are not able to be replayed unless 5 out of 6 of the maps have been played. The reason why we did that is because we didn't want players to have to or not be able to choose a map that they want to choose, or a map that's not necessarily good for them. And if they only had one choice left at the end of the series, it wouldn't work out too well for them. But that only happens in a best of 7 series, so we don't really have to worry about that.
People wondering how I'm commentating in my vehicle without moving. It's because I'm a ventriloquist and I drive a truck. I load trucks and drive them around, and I'm a ventriloquist, so I don't have to move my mouth to speak. Respect me.
Just waiting on a response from these teams. The next map chosen by Season 8 is going to be on Dalaran Sewers here. A smaller map, maybe giving this RMP a window of opportunity to set something up on this team. But I'm going to go ahead and play the intro for you guys. We'll be right back. Alright guys, welcome back to Dalaran Sewers. It's currently tied up 2-2 between Season 8 and 4 mecah. We have the RMP going up against Holy Paladin, Boomkin, Frost Mage, and so far 4 mecah is on a rampage, tying up the series 2-2.
I wonder if Xaryu's in there call like badgering. I'm like, come on guys, let me play. One game, guys.
I don't think he's badgering them. Well, he's probably in the call cheering them on, man.
You think he's cheering them on?
Yeah, I think he's excited.
I think Xaryu wants to win one game for his sister. I think they have to get him in for one.
He's gotten his team here. He just won the last series.
All right. I guess that's enough.
This is a 4-man team. Everyone's contributing in their own equal way. Xaryu doing an excellent job, I must say.
Nahj actually already cloaking offensively onto Felorea, trying to take him down in the opener. Double Fear lands, and this is the kind of pressure they can put out on a Holy Paladin. Gekz should be able to Master Spell the bubble. If he uses it too late, it could be risky. Felorea kind of being greedy here, finally using the Avenging Wrath, going to get cheap shot DR here. Solar Beam lands onto Gekz. They're setting up onto Nahj. He's fully dotted. He's spamming the feint desperately to keep it up. He does get half bashed with the feint. Gekz shadow melding out of the beam to dodge any incoming CC. Frost Jaw being used on Mageiden. He's already blocked to try and save Felorea. I think the strategy might end up working.
Yeah, absolutely. Felorea in a little bit of trouble right now. His wings are actually going to fade. Mageiden still the target of choice for Nahj, Icicle, and Gekz. Hypothermia is going to fade in a couple seconds. He's going to have that block available. He hasn't used his Cold Snap though, so it's going to be a while for him to actually get his 3rd block. He needs to press that Cold Snap as soon as possible so the cooldown can start running, especially if he's going to be the target of choice. There's a little bit of a mistake there from Mageiden.
Yeah, Felorea is in the back line, positioned very well right now. His wall's available, he has his trinket, his bubble, and both his buffs. He's spamming the rebuff, trying to keep his team unspell stealable. The full kidney onto Mageiden. Seems like they're pressuring him. He's not taking too much damage though, and Felorea still has the positional advantage way back here. Nahj and Icicle need to get their gears going and get onto somebody quick. So the longer this game goes, Solar Beam comes off CD. They can set up again. Felorea pushes in to get the Hodge. He did pre-cloak the Hodge, so they're going to escape that 30-second kill window.
Yeah, beautifully done by Nahj, knowing Felorea sprinting across the map to get that Hodge. So as soon as he's in line of sight, use that Cloak of Shadows. Well done by him. And now Nahj is cloned up as he's trying to go offensive onto Mageiden. The Frozen Orb coming out from Mageiden, though. They're trying to pressure Nahj at the moment, trying to get in some damage before he's able to feint, but he is able to get it up. And now Mageiden actually has no blocks left for himself. Felorea caught into that deep freeze. This RMP has so much pressure onto Mageiden. It's not at all like the first game we saw where they weren't able to really force anything at all. But now Nahj caught into the full Hodge at the moment. Gekz deciding to trinket that to dispel it off Nahj so he can get up that feint. But now they're in a situation where Nahj has no trinket, Gekz has no trinket, Mageiden has no bubbles, or sorry, ice blocks available for himself. Felorea does have all his cooldowns, so he's going to throw the bop onto Mageiden to prevent some of that incoming damage. That was the Shadow Reflection from Nahj. He's going to get cloned up on it. And Nahj just getting spam CC'd right now as they do wait for that stun DR to be up on him. Felorea getting CC'd though, the fear onto him, the frost shot onto him, but Nahj could be in a little bit of trouble here soon.
Both mages playing very aggressively for their teams. No blocks available actually on either side. Gekz caught into a solar beam. I don't imagine that Asbur want to change their target choices up, but Nahj did get a vanish, and he's just sitting in stealth for this entire CC chain. Now finally putting some pressure onto Icicle. Denouncers are coming in, but Felorea gets polyed. Garrote silence onto Mageiden, but a clone onto Gekz. Nahj has to be careful. He's just hitting the water elemental. He's going to jump down below here. Gets cloned up though. Defreeze onto Felorea. The clone does get mass dispelled out by Gekz, going to be able to top him off, lands the fear onto Felorea, trying to make a setup here. It looks like onto Mageiden, but he's getting polyed while they're hitting him, unfortunately. Not capitalizing on the CC. Now the full kidney lands on his trinket. He's going to blink towards the end of it as we're going for some defensive cyclones onto Icicle. Unfortunately, it's going to be DR'd. Felorea positioned very far back, wants to extend the game until that solar beam Hodge kill window comes up.
Yeah, absolutely. Mageiden, though, taking a lot of damage right now, down to 50% HP. Felorea caught into that deep freeze. Icicle not able to get the follow-up. So you see Mageiden pulling back and spamming those polymorphs onto him to prevent that Felorea blowing his wings, but he is caught into that full Frostjaw, into a fear now, and Mageiden in a lot of trouble. Felorea might have to use Trinket or Bubble. He uses that Trinket with the wings, gets a huge heal onto Mageiden, but the Smoke Bomb coming out from Nahj is not going to be enough, though, and Mageiden's going to get topped off, and now they're trying to spam CC him. Icicle getting out those polymorphs. Asbur getting cheap shot. They're just trying to play a little bit defensive until they can get more CC onto Felorea to try to get Mageiden down. There's the full sheep onto Felorea from Icicle. Mageiden taking a little bit of damage. The full fear coming out from Gekz onto everyone, though. Felorea caught into it. Mageiden caught into that full kidney shot. He just decided to blink it. He's in a little trouble, though. That's the Frostjaw. 17%. Cold Snap block coming out a little bit early. Felorea using that bubble as well. They're trying to turn it around onto Nahj. Gekz, I believe, Holy Fired that first polymorph, so well done by him. Caught into the DR polymorph into a full cycle, but Mageiden is the one that's in a lot of trouble still. The deep freeze onto Felorea, the blind onto Asbur, the bop onto Mageiden. Might get spell stolen off. Icicle spell steals it. Mageiden down to 30% HP. Felorea caught into the full Frostjaw, into the fear. Mageiden still in a lot of trouble right now, completely on the back foot. That's the full polymorph onto Felorea. The silence onto Asbur at the moment, and Mageiden somehow, some way, still alive. I have no idea how. Caught into the kidney shot, is able to blink away from that, and Felorea is finally out of CC, able to top off Mageiden. Some miracle kept him alive there.
Yeah, they're finally capitalizing on Mageiden blocking to keep his teammates alive and stay offensive. Unfortunately, they didn't kill him there. Felorea has the Avenging Wrath up. He does get put into the Frostjaw. The polymorph is going to get locked up by Mageiden, but Gekz is there to follow it up with a full fear. Icicle is going to be looking for that polymorph. He blink blazing speeds across. Felorea's line of sighting with that downward wall, and he does manage to rebuke the polymorph. So good shutdown from Felorea, denying that CC that they needed to get. Well, Mageiden still doesn't have a block for a minute, but unfortunately, finally getting that poly. Mageiden blazing speeds across the map. Ice Nova comes in. Nahj connects, but they deep him defensively. They dispel it into a DR bash. Silence and polymorph onto Felorea. Mageiden almost completely alone. Asbur desperately trying to clone, but the killing spree comes through. Felorea trinkets the fear. Clone lands onto Nahj. Ring onto Icicle. Mageiden at 30% HP, staying alive. Felorea should be able to top him off here. They're going to be looking for that kill window as Solar Beam is available. Nahj cloaks offensive. This is the time to strike for them. He does no trinket for 24 seconds. Icicle rotting in the backline at 48% as well. Hodge onto Nahj, but they're pushing in to punish Icicle with no blocks. Star Surgers are flying. Raster coming in. Ice Nova hits, and Icicle is going to go down here, and for mecah are still in the advantage.
Damn.
There it is,
I
guys.
think they didn't actually force any of his ice blocks with damage, right? It was just CC on Icicle. So both mages using their blocks offensively, and yeah. It's nice to see mages being punished for that. To be honest, that was well played.
Yep, and there it is. So, that being said, for mecah is now 1 game away from taking the entire tournament in Season 8. They have some work to do, man. But that was a much better game than the first two, I must say, coming out from this RMP. They definitely made some stuff happen. They noticed what the setup is coming out from this Mage Boomkin Paladin team, and Nahj even getting that clutch cloak on that Hodge to try to prevent those setups from occurring. And yeah, they definitely did better. And there was a lot of times there where, like, for example, Mageiden somehow, some way survived that one setup that just seemed like the CC never ended, but Mageiden just never died. I don't know. There's definitely a possibility that Season 8 could bring this back. I'm going to ask Season 8 what map that they want next. So far, we have played Dalaran Sewers, Tiger's Peak, and the Grand Arena.
Yep.
The next map chosen by Season 8, they're going to bring it on something bigger here. They're going to bring it to Tolvaron Arena.
I don't know if they're favored in Tolvaron. Nahj is gonna have to overextend to get on any target he wants, and I don't know.
Yeah, especially with Nahj being the kill target, huh?
What maps did they even have left? Maybe it's just a situation where they didn't have any really good maps.
So Nagrand, Tiger's Peak, and Dalaran. They had Ruins of Orderon, Blades Edge Arena, and one more. What am I missing?
I think Gekz is gonna level a gnome. I actually think they could win if he could just get out of the beam and deal with it himself. Just having no way out. Asbur knows that every time he presses it, it's like guaranteed. Every minute, I'm going to CC you for 8 seconds. It doesn't matter. And they don't need very long to kill Nahj. They just need the Hodge into the DR bash, and sometimes not even that. So I really think he's going to level a gnome next time and have an ult ready for this, because I kind of feel his pain watching him go into that every minute.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just an instant CC. There's nothing you can do about it, right? He gets Trent, Ruden beamed immediately. No one can stop it. There's nothing that can be done. Just an 8-second CC, like you said. So maybe it's worth investing in that gnome for the next tournament. Who knows? We'll have to see what goes on in this game. Now, Nahj immediately using that Shroud of Concealment. Mage is pushing in, and actually Blizzard's out. Nahj, they're denying their opener. Icicle going to go into that Viz. Nahj trying to get the restart, but Asper's just going to run in, bleed him up, and now Naj's opener gets completely botched there. This RMP already not feeling so good, but Asper's going to push in, keep up with the bleeds, the thrash on the Nahj so he can't get the re-stealth. Mageiden and Icicle both building up as much damage as possible at the moment. Mageiden pushing in, trying to get out some CC. Nahj finally has a target to hit. He's going to start onto Mageiden, but he gets cloned up by Asper immediately, MD'd by Gekz. Mageiden using that Icy Veins as Trinket as well as Frozen Orb. They want to get onto Nahj. Gets caught into the full Hodge, the Deep Freeze onto Felorea, the Polymorph onto Felorea. Nahj actually using his Trinket there, so already forced the Trinket. Mageiden, though, under a lot of pressure, down to 30% HP. Sable the Light proccing. Felorea is still into those sheeps, but he is going to get out, pop that Avenging Wrath, and top off Mageiden instantly.
Yeah, it was a very aggressive push out from Nahj here. Gekz landing the full fear onto Felorea, trying to set up onto Mageiden, it would appear, but I imagine he's going to be more conservative with his blocks. He does get bopped out of that full kidney shot, denying a lot of damage there, but it does eventually, I believe, get spell stolen. There's the killing spree coming out onto Mageiden. He's got to be careful. He blinks with the killing spree on him. He's going to get the block off. He's going to get MD'd on it, though. He uses the cold snap. Is that enough? Felorea pops the Aura Mastery to get some heals. Asbur going for a Cyclone onto Nahj as well. If they can recover here, they can make a setup. Solar Beam available in 7 seconds. Deep onto Gekz. Hodge onto Nahj trying to set up. The Star Surges are flying in. Pain Suppression comes out. Denounce is even being thrown out from Felorea. All 3 players trying to participate on this kill into Nahj, but with that big damage reduction out from Gekz, he does survive, but now into the full root Solar Beam. He has to Trinket it, get the saving grace, but now he's into a half Polymorph. Luckily, the Cyclone got locked out. Cloak of Shadows comes off cooldown. He's going to survive for now as the CC runs out onto Gekz. The clone, unfortunately, onto Icicle. He's just going to block it to go offensive here on a Mageiden.
Yeah, Mageiden in a little bit of trouble right now, but this RMP has no cooldowns left. Felorea now getting feared out of that sheep. He does have Trinket as well as Bubble available. Mageiden still has a block. Nahj still has no cloak for a little bit. No Trinket. Gekz has no Trinket. They smell blood in the water. If the next stun on Nahj could be lethal if they can line it up. Here it goes. The Frozen Orb comes out. Deep Freeze Sheep onto Gekz. Nahj caught into that full Hodge at the moment. In a lot of trouble. He has no Cloak of Shadows available. If they can keep any follow-up CC onto Gekz, it could be in a lot of trouble. Nahj running back, kicking Mageiden on the sheep, kidneying the Ring of Frost, and because of that, Gekz is going to be able to get out of the CC and top off Nahj, but the offensive clone coming in from Asbur onto Nahj, denying those heals a little bit. The clone now being transferred onto Gekz. Mageiden in a little bit of trouble right now, though. Felorea has those wings up. He should be able to top off Mageiden for the moment. Gekz in that full root beam, though. Nahj getting hodged up once again, deciding to trinket that right away. Caught into the deep freeze zone, and that could be the game. Beautiful deep freeze coming out from Mageiden. Gekz still not out of CC, so that was overkill at that point.
Mageiden turned Nahj into Chop Suey at the last part of that game with his little toy. So I should point that out. It looked pretty cool.
All right, so for mecah is going to bring it back, and the entire tournament's going to go to them. Definitely an exciting finals coming out from them, as they did face Season 8 earlier on with Xaryu on that Shadow Priest and lost. And now they're going to bring it back and win the whole tournament, going up against that very same team that put them in the lower bracket. But that is going to conclude our entire tournament, everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with us. I really do appreciate that, everybody. We'll be back next week, Friday, Saturday on our US tournament, and Saturday, Sunday on our EU tournament. And we will be opening up those signups on Sunday. So if you're interested in coming out and competing for GCE TV, come back to this stream, and in the information below, we're going to have the links available to sign up there. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Later. Peace.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.